Lutron. You are so cool, but yet so stupid. Like, why? Oh my gosh, you only care about the rich people and no one else. Well, hello to my 6 subscribers out there, and hopefully you all continue to follow me after I post this video, so thank you for being there. I'm sorry it took me so long to upload another video, but a lot has changed in the past 3 years. I'm working a completely different job now. My living situation has changed. I'm still in the same place, but I'm living by myself now because I can afford it. Yay! I've gotten to explore a lot into the smart home industry. Things that I've never even heard of, that I never knew existed, because, you know, a lot of these things only cater to the rich and wealthy. Starting with Lutron. This company has it down pat. Lighting, shades, and even in some senses automation for audio and video. TVs and audio-video receivers, and you can like turn them on from the app. Things like that. This isn't stuff that you would be able to do from Q-SYS or RAW2 Select. No, I'm not talking about those. Those are just entry level. Those are consumer. That's you can go and buy off the shelf from Best Buy or some other big box store. No. I'm talking about the solutions where you have to hire a professional company to come out and install them and program them. Here we have the first system. This is Radio Raw 2. Some of you might know what all of these components are. Some of you may think you know what this component is, but you don't. This is just a box that connects to the internet. That's all it does. No wireless transmitting or anything like that. It provides a IP communication from here to this device, the main repeater, which connects all of the smart devices like the light switches and whatnot. All it does is it enables Apple HomeKit. So this little box, its sole purpose is to give you the ability to control your lights from Apple HomeKit and nothing else. I know it kind of sounds ridiculous, but the reasoning behind it, when this was released, Apple HomeKit either did not exist yet, or it just was not as popular, it was not as integrated into our lives as it is today. Not to mention, at the time, Apple had different requirements for making a device HomeKit compatible. It required a physical hardware modification, hence why this came out. It wasn't until after a few updates where they converted the hardware security into software security, which allowed companies to then digitally enable HomeKit instead of having to implement another piece of hardware into the system. But yeah, that's just for starters. Basically, you already have to buy 2 things, and we're not even on the lights yet. So this guy here, obviously in the title, it's the main repeater. This is what communicates to all of the lights. If you couldn't tell by this big, wonky antenna, this is what does all of the RF communication for all the light switches, dimmers, smart outlets, shades if you have them, including devices like this. Not this one, because this is Zigbee, but this one. Now, the downside to these is that the range is not ideal. It is very lackluster, and Lutron's solution to that is just to make a bunch of other boxes that look exactly like this one, scratch off the word main, just write the word auxiliary. So literally everything that you see on here, maybe with the exception of some of these ports down here, is the same for the expansion modules, except get rid of the word main and put the word auxiliary. Already having to buy 2 or 3 of these things. I think the maximum you can have in a system is 4. These are not cheap too. Like if you go online and try to find one used, I think these go for like $200-300 or something like that. Same thing with this. Last time I checked, this thing was 120 bucks. And for HomeKit, you know, as someone who's trying to save money, I think I could live without HomeKit. And regarding the lights, most of Lutron's systems have wireless lighting controls. Only the super high-end systems have wired lighting controls. And Lutron uses the same exact wireless protocol across all of their platforms. So for Radio Raw 2, it's ClearConnect. For Q-SYS, it's ClearConnect. For HomeWorks Q-SYS, it's ClearConnect. Even for HomeWorks Q-SYS, it's ClearConnect. Q-SYS supports ClearConnect Type X, which is just Lutron's rebranding of 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. So this remote, specifically this one, not this one, this supports ClearConnect. This can work with Q-SYS, it can work with RAW 2, it can work with HomeWorks Q-SYS. If you were to try and take a light switch from RAW 2 and connect it to Q-SYS, it's not going to work. Even though it supports the same exact protocol, even though it does the same exact function, it still ain't going to work. Lutron just says, nope. Buy a different one. And what I think is even stupider, I'm going to have to put an image up on the screen for this one, but you can see that these devices look identical, and they do the same exact thing. They wirelessly communicate to a Lutron system, and they control lights to turn them on and off. One of these devices is significantly more expensive than the other, and is only available through a professional integration designer. You cannot buy it elsewhere. Both of these use the same exact wireless protocol. Both of these have the same exact features. Yet, Lutron decided to make them different in their own way so that they can capitalize on it. And you know what? It's working. Because the rich people, they spend money on anything. They don't bat an eye. Especially those who want a big, fancy automation system. They'll throw money at it like it's nothing. And lastly, notice how I said not this remote earlier. This remote has a little Z in the corner. This is a Zigbee remote. Lutron actually does not make these anymore. And in fact, these remotes are not compatible with any of their existing systems to this day. These remotes are very popular, especially with Philips Hue lights. They are popular mainly because of their form factor and size, and because they can fit into a light switch socket. So you can disguise this as a light switch. You can install smart bulbs in your ceiling fixture. You never have to worry about, oh, did I leave the light switch on? Will I be able to control my lights from the app? Because you'll always be able to. Turn them on from the app, turn them off from here, and turn them back on in the app, or vice versa. This product became so popular when all of the smart bulbs came out. What ended up happening is Lutron discontinued them. The reasoning is unclear, but you are lucky if you can go on eBay and find any of these. And typically when you do find one, the cheapest one that I was able to find was $70. So Lutron essentially created this amazing product for the average consumer and just decided to pull it like when the light bulb craze happened, the smart light bulb craze. It may have had something to do with the fact that Philips, they already had some type of Zigbee remote. It was just bigger and clunkier than this. It's actually ugly in my opinion. And additionally, they came out with another version of the dimmer, which is like a smart knob. It's like called the Aurora or something like that. I mean, yeah, it's a cool concept, but you also have to have a traditional style toggle light switch in order to install that. On top of that, I hate the knob style. That's so friggin' 1980s. This is nicer, come on. But yeah, my theory is that it was probably some type of a licensing issue, and that's why Lutron no longer makes these. I got very lucky. I found a seller on eBay who was selling like 9 of these, and I just offered him a flat 120. He said yes. He said he took the offer because he wanted to give it to someone who was actually going to use them and not just go and resell them, which I am so grateful, so lucky that I was in the right place, right time, because I've got so many of these in my house. It is perfect, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. It matches my Q-SYS system, and everything says Lutron, so it's all the same. My OCD could not be happier. There are a lot of people with mixed feelings for Crestron. I happen to be very partial to it. Reason being, there are so many possibilities with Crestron. It's essentially just a computer runs code in C, and you can just program the code to do whatever you want. You can make your grandmother's television set from the 50s work with this thing. That's how robust they are. Just by looking at the I/O ports on the back of this, it has basic relay controls, got a versatile port, which means it can be a sense, like a contact closure. You've got a serial port, got 4 IR ports, and then this thing here that says CrestNet, that's just Crestron's proprietary version of RS-422 or 485, whatever they use. This can be used to control so many different things. This little thing right here is just one of thousands of different products that Crestron makes. Essentially, the way I like to put it, if you can think about it, Crestron can do it. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about. Just know that Crestron can do it. Plain and simple. What's interesting too is that Crestron has 2 different versions of this. They have one for just your everyday, ordinary home user who just likes a streamlined setup, and they have one for that user who just likes to customize every little teeny tiny detail about their smart home. So the ones that are the R model, like this one is an MC4R, these are the ones designed for the average homeowner. The ones without the R, just like say a regular MC4, that's designed for the bigwigs who want to customize. Those are my favorite types of systems to program because, like I said, you can do almost anything with them. To give you guys an example, I was given the task of making an RTI remote control work with Crestron. For those of you that don't know, RTI is a completely different company. They're not designed to work with Crestron. In fact, they're actually a competitor to Crestron because they provide some of the same services. and products. I was able to take an RTI control processor, plug it into the serial port of a Crestron processor, have a one-way serial communication coming from RTI to Crestron, so that whenever you pressed buttons on the RTI remote, it goes from remote to RTI to Crestron to TV. It worked beautifully. No issues whatsoever. It was seamless. But in short, programming this, it's just like you have to know C programming, or you just have to have a basic understanding of how C programming works, because it's mostly graphical. It's like a graphical editor for C. And then for those scenarios where you need to do a little bit of fine-tuning and coding that's not supported by the graphical side, they support C+. They call it Simple Plus, but it's the same thing. The majority of the clients at my job have this type of system. Not this exact piece of hardware, but they have a Crestron system. They are the most robust, they integrate with the most different platforms, and they can just do anything. It's amazing to me. For the video, I wanted to show you guys this really cool remote control that comes with Control 4, but it's unfortunately got a dead battery, so I gotta let it charge. And for this demonstration, I'm just gonna use my phone, because the user interface is pretty much identical on the remote that it is to the phone app. But yeah, we're just gonna take a look at the Control 4 app. So this is just a basic overview. It's got lighting, climate, security. The scenes obviously are for my lighting, and there's a button on there that says Flash Uber Eats. That's because if I ever order takeout, they have a hard time finding my house. So all I got to do is just push this button, confirm it, and it starts flashing my porch lights. Now, Control 4 is my second favorite control system. Crestron definitely takes the cake because of how much you can customize it, but this one is my second favorite because of how easy it is to program. It's like a night and day difference compared to Crestron or the other automation system. It's all real-time programming. You go on the software, as soon as you change the value and press enter, you're done. That's it. You don't have to like upload it. You don't have to wait for it to load, make sure everything works. No, it just works. Crestron is different. You have to do all of the programming first, and then you have to upload and test it to see if it works. And you have to debug it in real time to see if you need to make changes. I just went through everything on here. It turns out a lot of my services are disconnected, and that's no surprise to me because I just recently did a huge network migration here at my house. I relocated all of my stuff from downstairs to from my living room to upstairs here in my office, my new office now that I live by myself. And I think ever since I made this change, it's just a lot of the services have stopped working. Like my thermostat, it's telling me I have to request the code and repair the service. I have Ecobee for that. For my lights, some of them are working and not working, but they're mostly mislabeled. These actually still have some of the old labels from when I was still sharing this house with someone. So, and like I haven't re-modified it on here. The downside is, like, let's say if you modify your lights on the Lutron app or a different spot, you have to come back here and modify it on here as well. And it cannot be done by the end user, it has to be done by the integration professionals. Like, it's only accessible from that software. That being said, it's still a very, very cool system, mainly because it has a lot of different options for conditional programming. I have all of my lights downstairs. After 12:30 midnight, all of my lights, they automatically turn off. That's for first. Second, if I were to, let's say, go downstairs in the middle of the night to go get a drink of water or whatever the case may be, if I turn on a light, that light will stay on, but then it'll turn off in 10 minutes. And it stays like that until, I think, 5 in the morning. Once it hits 5 in the morning, that logic goes away and the lights just act normal. I think the security is probably my favorite feature because, you know, I have to use my August app just to unlock my door. I know, so annoying. This just gives me a very quick overview, whereas in August I would have to like navigate to 2 different screens, wait for it to populate, where I could just pull this up and bam, tap it, and then it'll just do it when it's ready. So now I've selected a different room. You can see that it changed at the top, and now you see there's a watch and a listen button. This communicates directly to the TV downstairs. It's a Roku TV, and so it's able to integrate all of the different apps available on Roku, and it just populates them right into here. So I can just click any one of these and it'll automatically go to that app on the Roku TV. Or I can just select Apple TV as the HDMI input, and then this will give me remote control of my Apple TV via HomeKit. I know that was kind of lame, me showing you from my phone, and the fact that like nothing works right now. I should have just checked that before even starting this video. It would have been nice if I could show you the remote. It has been charging for a little bit. Let me go see if it's finished. Ouch. Okay, I got it. It's on, but I don't know for how long. It's on the red right now, so yeah. But you can see it's very, very similar to what we were seeing in the app. Maybe just the icons are a little bit smaller. This is essentially just a little Android device, but a very, very simplified version of Android. It only has their software on it. But yeah, just imagine having this super cool, sleek remote. That's such a flex, like when you have your friends over and you're gonna put on the TV, all you gotta do is just press watch, and you select what you're gonna watch, like the Apple TV. Gives you the controls. If you need additional controls, you just swipe on the screen and it gives you the home button if you need it. You got these controls down here. And additionally, let's say, you're about to put on a movie, you wanna, set the mood right, you just press the home button, go to lighting, and yeah, set a scene, turn off the lights. There you go. You can do it all from here. So simple. And it also gives you a warning too when you go to power it off in case you press it by accident. That's good for, people with systems like, audio video receivers, because if that stuff turns off and on too quickly, it could damage it. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, sorry for the very long delay. I hope to keep up with more of these videos. I should have more free time in the coming days. So yeah, if you have any video ideas that you want me to post, anything you want to hear about, if you have questions about the expensive smart home industry, please send them my way. If I can get my hands on anything else, I will show it to you guys. But thanks for watching.